Hey, how y'all doing? It's Sharonda, and hey, how y'all doing? And today I'm here to do my monthly reading recap for the month of March. So let's get into this thing, shall we? Okay, so March was a pretty good reading month. I have not a lot of complaints on one book I really did not care for. Some of them was kind of iffy, but it was really just one. I was just like, what is this? What is this? Okay. I will be doing a tarot pairing with the books that I read, and I will be using the Onyx tarot card deck. So yes, so you can get a little bit closer look at that. So yeah, I'll be using cards from this deck. Really beautiful deck. I'll probably do a flip through one of these days, but this deck is really pretty. It's one of those, like, you know, picture collage decks. Gorgeous. And it has like this really cute lime green edging. I love it. It's like I use it a lot now. But anyway, so let's start. All right, so the first book I'm going to start off with is E and J by Shon. This was actually a podcast read that Tama and myself had. We also had a guest on, Anaya from Well Read Pharmacist. So I'm not going to go into much about that book. You can listen to Brazenly Shady and get our full thoughts on the book. But I will say that I enjoyed this book. She did an amazing job with mental health, with another form of mental health, where someone doesn't necessarily go and seek professional help, you know, talking on somebody's couch. This is actually like someone, you know, that just wants to, you know, be by themselves, you know, just wallow a little bit, and then have someone come inside of their lives and, you know, just be there for them. Don't really, like, you know, force them to do a whole lot of things or anything. Just making sure that, you know, taking care of them. And basically in the book you have Jonah, who is, you know, kind of like in love with his best friend's sister, and when she's going through this very depressive state, he just shows up for her in a way that she needed for somebody to show up for her at that time. But like I said, you guys can listen to Brazenly Shady podcast and check out our full thoughts. And the card that I actually chose for E and J was the Hermit card. Okay. And I chose this card because it really represents like self-reflection, withdrawal, isolation, solitude, you know, like contemplation. Like, these are some of the things that this character was going through inside of this book, because it was a lot of things, you know, that really kind of like put her in this state. But yeah, really the amazing book. I do believe right now it is still available for purchase directly through the author's website. It's like an exclusive through her website. So I highly recommend that you guys go check this book out, because it is well worth the read. Just loved it. Just for the mental health rep alone, you should check out this book. All right. Okay. So, if I'm looking over, I'm looking at my Goodreads, because y'all, the way my memory is set up. All right. The next book I want to talk about is The Soul of a Cupid by Blake Moore. This is a new to me author. Just was scrolling through Amazon Kindle one night through my Kindle store, and this book popped up. And from the blurb, I was interested, and I'm trying to get back into heavily, because I have been reading paranormal books and stuff, but I want to get back heavily into it, because y'all, these contemporary romances. Anyway, so in this book you have Emery and Zahn. Zahn is actually a cupid, and this has the whole fated mate situation going on. Zahn is Emery's brother. Another situation where the best friend is, you know, well, he wasn't technically in love with her, but, you know, she comes back in town. She's all grown up and stuff. But anyway, he's best friends with her brother. And Emery is all grown up now. And then we kind of find out that Emery is Zahn's fated mate. I really did like the spin that she did on this story. I love like the chemistry between Zahn and Emery. Even though Zahn was doing the most, because he was, even though he was a cupid, he didn't really like believe in, you know, that whole lovey-dovey, you know, falling in love type thing, because if you, trigger warning, content warning, there is mentions of cheating on the page, not from Zahn or Emery, but Zahn had issues with being in like a loving relationship because his daddy wasn't shit. His daddy was so he just felt like, you know, maybe love ain't for me and all this other stuff. Yeah, this cupid job, sure, fine, I'll do it, I'm good at it, whatever. It's, you know, is what the men in his family do. But love, nah, playing. I don't know about all of that until Emery comes in, and the situation, the way she explains their fated mate situation is, in this particular story, the cupids are only their fated mates are the only ones that could see them in their cupid form. So this is what happens one night when they are both at this event together. Emery just happens to come across Zahn in his cupid form, and boom. But he was doing too much goddamn playing around and shit like that. Like, and like he, you know, like I do like, she had like a little bit romancing on the page and stuff, but because he had, like I say, he had this whole type of aversion to love and stuff like that, it was just kind of like, it kind of like made their romance just a little bit, you know, hard to believe in, because I was just like, you know. And then I just also felt like, even though we did get like like a little bit of them dating on page, you know, like a little bit romancing on page, I still feel like, you know, we still did not get enough time between them for them to get to know each other. You know what I mean? This pretty much kind of read to me, in my opinion, kind of like insta love. Okay, but most paranormal romances are like that, you know, because these folks already know that, you know, who their fated mates are supposed to be. So it's really the situation of, you know, either they're gunning for their fated mate, or, you know, they got them walls up. They like, oh girl, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. But the only things I would have liked more from her is, I would have loved more description of the cupids in this book. Like in her description of the cupids, like, how did they come to Atlanta? How did the cupids come to be? How are these men and these families, like, how are these families chosen to be cupids? You know what I'm saying? Like, they were born, like Zahn, dad, you know, all of them, they were like born into being cupids. But how did that happen? You know what I mean? And also, I would have loved for her to be more descriptive on page of Zahn in his cupid form. We didn't get a lot of that, in my opinion, and I would love to just give me a little bit more, like what he looked like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what he wearing, you know, do he got the bow and the arrow? You know, is he shoot, you know, what he do, you know, what the arrows look like, you know what I'm saying? Like, things like that. So I just wish she was just like a little bit more descriptive with those things. Okay. And the card I chose for the soul of a cupid, of course, is the Lovers. Here you go. Okay. And with this card, we have love union. Okay. Romance. All right. There's balance, and there can be imbalance, imbalance with this. And the imbalance came from Zahn being all shifty when he already knew that Emery was his goddamn fated mate. Like, sir, what are you doing? Get it together. Because when I was reading it, I was like, sir, if you ain't gonna be like your daddy, why are we going through all this rigmarole? Like, get it together, sir. Get it together. Okay. Bad choices is another thing that comes with the Lovers card. Zahn was making a whole lot of bad choices inside this book. Because I was like, sir, she's your fated mate. You know she's your fated mate. And you playing in this girl's face. It's making me mad. Okay, indecision comes with this card. A lot of good and bad can come with the Lovers card in Zion. But the romance, the whole, the lovey-dovey situation and stuff like that, Emery was pretty much like a hopeless romantic. And when she found out that Zion was keeping from her that she was his fated mate, child. Okay. But it was an okay, decent read. I ended up rating it 3 stars. And I rated E and J because that book was really, really just an amazing read. I actually rated E and J 5 stars. Okay. But The Soul of a Cupid, 3 stars. All right. And then we move on to Blood on the Tide by Katee Roberts. I wish I could say I like this book more. This is actually a book that I requested through the Berkeley Book Influencer Program. I do not like this book, y'all. I struggled. Ooh, when I tell y'all I struggled with this book, I struggled with this book. So basically in this book, you have a vampire and a selkie. Okay, and a selkie is kind of like a shift shaper. They actually have seal skin that they can shift in and out of any way. Okay, so we have Lizzie, who's the vampire, and Maeve, I think that's how you pronounce her name, Maeve, who is the selkie. But anyway, this is the second book in her Chrism Cells series, and Lizzie is a character from the first book. But anyway, what ends up happening is Lizzie and Maeve end up together because Maeve is actually searching for her seal skin. It was stolen from her, and Lizzie has to get back her family heirlooms and stuff like that. So they both kind of like go on this adventure of looking for that, but they have to go up against, like this pirate ship and stuff like that. So that's kind of like where the action is supposed to come in. This is also a sapphic romance. Okay. I did not like this book, y'all. I just thought it was too wordy. The romance between Lizzie and Maeve, because we had so much wordiness going on, I just felt like the romance just did not hit in this book at all. You really didn't get the feel of something brewing and growing in between these two characters. And I was just like, oh my God. I'm telling y'all right now, I struggle with this book. I ended up rating it 2. I just could not get into it. Katee Roberts right now for me is a whole lot of a miss of author. I've read a couple of books. I think I only read one book by her, which was another vampire romance or whatever. And I like that. I didn't pick up the other books in the series or whatever, but this is why I hate reading like books that are like series and then you have to wait for the next one, because my ass will forget. But anyway, unless I'm really, really checking for you, and I must not have been checking for Katee Child, but anyway, she is really a miss type of an author for me. I really have not found like a whole lot of her books that I enjoy. I'm gonna try one more book by her. It's the Hades book in that Gods of Something series that she has. I'm gonna read that book, and I'm telling y'all right now, I ain't messing with this lady no more. Like, that's it. I'm good on Katee. I know y'all love Katee, and Katee love y'all, but Sharonda don't love Katee. Okay, so I did pick. Even though I had some issues, okay, with this book, I did pick a card for it. And I actually chose the 3 of Swords for Blood on the Tide. And here's the card right here. And the 3 of Swords speaks of healing and grief, recovery and forgiveness. All these things are going on with these characters inside of this book. When I say grief and recovery, I am talking about Maeve and how she had to, really just go, how she kind of like felt disconnected. It was kind of like a grief thing for her to be disconnected from her skin, like, her skin like that, her silky skin. So she honestly really just wanted to find it. And it was kind of weird because in the book they were just like, without her silky skin, she was pretty much just human. I was like, that's harsh, and I mean, true, but it was harsh, so she felt a real disconnection from not having her skin with her, which is why she wanted it back so bad. And when I speak of healing and forgiveness, I'm talking more on Lizzie's end, because when we first got inside this book, Lizzie is stuck on the boat, and Lizzie is a vampire that does not do water and boats really, really well. The vampire got seasick, y'all. I was like, but she was actually, in the beginning of the story, she was on the boat with her ex, who is now with a man, and she had to watch these two be lovey-dovey. Honestly, Lizzie wasn't a mean enough type vampire, because I would have ripped both their goddamn throats out. Get me off this boat, I'm gonna kill them. That's it. But yeah, so blood untied. I'm just gonna read one more book by that lady, and that's it. That's all she getting on me. I ain't gonna do it no more. You understand? All right. The next book I want to talk about is Infallible by Nicole Whitfield. And honey, this book had no rhyme or reason. And you know what? I'm not mad about it not having no rhyme or goddamn reason. The book was crazy as hell. This is a psychological thriller by Miss Whitfield. And in this book, you have Autumn, who is crazy as fuck. She said wasn't nothing wrong with her, but I was like, girl, you was crazy, okay? But in this book, you have Autumn, who, when we go inside of the book, her current boyfriend is breaking up with her in the worst goddamn embarrassing way ever. And Autumn is just like, she like, bitch, the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And we feeling bad for Autumn when we go inside this book, because we the readers are fooled too, okay? And in comes Jack. Jack is gonna be her knight and saving knight in shining armor, okay? Jack sees her out in the rain, crying, hair, face fucked up, hair fucked up, she all wet and shit. And Jack like, you know what? Let me help you out, girl. And you go inside the story, because I've read a book by Nicole Whitfield already, and I'm thinking Jack gonna be the problem. I'm going inside the book thinking Jack gonna be the problem. Y'all, Jack wasn't the problem. Jack was not the problem. It was Autumn. Autumn is goddamn crazy, okay? We kind of find out that she is playing Jack for a whole ass fool, okay? Because Jack is one of those people that fall hard, that he could turn into kind of like the stalker type or whatever, right? But when he meets a woman and he falls for her hard, honey. He's just like, that's a woman, I'm gonna do everything. He did everything for Autumn. Moved her in. Ain't know this girl. Ain't know this lady. He ain't know this lady. Moved her in. Got her a job. Did all this shit, because her ex-boyfriend was like, bye, bye, bye. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. But Autumn was playing him out. She was playing him out. She was straight playing his face. She started doing things, fucking with his head, doing things that was fucking with his head. Had this man thinking he was losing his goddamn mind, y'all. I was like, what the fuck is going on? But there was no rhyme or reason to what she was doing. And she said it in the book. I was like, what you mean? You're just walking around experimenting on people because you can? Or she was, y'all, you just gotta try the book out, because I don't even know. And I always say I thought by the end of the book that I would have, you know, I was saying by the time I got to the end of this book, I think I would have wanted more explanation on things. But there's an epilogue, and she gives us a little bit why Autumn's sister, like when Autumn came around to her family and stuff, why the sister was like, I ain't fucking with her. She coming to the house, I ain't coming over there. And just telling her parents, you better tell me if she come, because I ain't fucking with her. Because she was, it's, you really go inside this book thinking Jack was going to be the problem. Especially the way he just approached her on the street. Ain't even know her, put her up like that night. And, you know, I'm not saying like, you know, good Samaritan. Don't help your fellow human out when you know, when you see them in a situation and you can. But child, everybody probably don't want to be helped. And, you know, I hated her ex-boyfriend. In this book, I hated his ass because the way he embarrassed that girl in the front of the book. But by the time you get to the end, I'm sitting up here thinking, you know what? He dodged the goddamn bullet. He dodged the goddamn bullet. Cause I was like, was she experimenting on him? And he just, you know, he just fucked up, you know, fucked it up, and then, you know, ended up getting her out of his house before she could go further with whatever experiment she was doing on him. Crazy. Anyway, so the card I chose for Autumn, honey, not even the book, but Autumn, the devil. You see that devil sitting back there, but you see this nice calm person in the front, two-faced it. That's what Autumn was. She was two-faced as fuck. Cause no way. I was like, no, two-faced, chaos bringer, troublemaker. Can't be trusted. The devil. Y'all better be watching them sad face people out in the rain, look like they just got their heart broke, all upset and stuff. Maybe the devil in disguise, honey, and that's what that book fucked me up. I was like, I did end up rating Infallible 3 stars, and I only rated it 3 stars because even though I was like once I sat down and thought about it, I was satisfied with the story, because I really think you should just go inside this book and don't expect anything by the end of it. Just take it for what it is. But there were some like things inside of the book I would have like further explanation of, like mainly how she ended up like that. Why she like that? There's gotta be a reason. I'm sorry. I mean, crazy is crazy sometimes, but it got to be a reason. All right, and the next book I'm going to go on to is I'll Conjure You by Charish, Reid. This is another ARC that I received. This one was directly from the author. This is the second book in her Beck Sisters Haunting. Okay, so if you read the first book, then you already know that these sisters are now witches. Okay, they found out they witches, and we have it. The baby sister Helen. She's trying to figure out her power and stuff like that. She is studying to be a witch. Okay, the big sister Whitney decided I ain't gonna do it. But okay, so Helen also has a disability in this book. She has ADHD, so it is a struggle for her to focus on learning her witching. She does have like one of her grandmothers, because from the first book, the girls inherited a old mansion from their grandmother, which they turned into a B&B and stuff like that. So Helen is the cook at this B&B. But anyway, she's studying to be a witch, and she is finding it hard to focus, you know, on that, and then, you know, like doing things for the, you know, her job at the B&B, cook, you know, things like that. She's just finding it hard to focus or whatever. And then we have Everett, who was born and raised in this little town that Whitney and Helen and her sister now lives in. Okay, so Everett and his dad have a real bad relationship due to another trigger, warning contact warning. There's mention of death on page of a parent. Ever since Everett's mom died, him and his father have kind of like this contentious relationship, but he does go back so that he can help his dad with the hardware store that the family owns or whatever. But we also have a mutual implying situation inside of this book, because both Helen and Everett, you know, they see each other in town a lot, and they're kind of like crushing on each other. Helen is kind of like scatterbrained, again, the ADHD situation, and Everett is just really, really shy. Also, he is a virgin. Okay, he is also a demisexual. Okay, he's a demisexual virgin, so he's very, girl, he's like shy. Okay, so, you know, when he see Helen, he like, ooh, I want to talk to her, but ooh, I don't know. Okay, because I don't think he ever been in a situation with a woman. I was like, not even talking ever. You can't talk to the lady. But anyway, so what brings them finally together is that Everett's grandma brings some haunted ass furniture inside your house. Okay, when you guys go to these estate and garage sales, smoke your shit. You ain't gotta use sage, okay, because sage is like endangered now, whatever. It's okay. Use another smoke, a smoke that can cleanse your shit before cleanse that shit before you bring it inside your house, okay? Because Everett, his grandma Helen, had to learn the hard way. Because what ends up happening, she ends up bringing in some haunted ass furniture from a estate sale she went to, and the goddamn demon, it wasn't no ghost, it wasn't no spirit, it was a goddamn demon. A demon? Anyway, okay, so Helen comes, Everett goes to Helen because he's like, girl, ain't nobody gonna believe me, so I need your help, okay? And also Everett kind of like mistakenly finds out that Helen is a witch, because he stumbles upon one of her rituals one night, and that ritual kind of like affects them, and they got to figure out if this attraction that they have to each other is being heavily brought on by this ritual that she performed and he stumbled upon, or, you know, if this is real. So we kind of like have that situation. Then we have them trying to get this demon out of his grandma's house. For the most part, I liked the book. It was it was a little cute read. You know, she did the horror. She did the horror, the little scary thumpy horror thing. She was alright with that, okay? So my issue with this book is the pacing. It does take you a while to get inside of the story. So the pacing throughout the book, it drags a lot. I did find myself putting down my tablet a lot while I was reading, you know, because I was falling out of the story. So pacing, you got to pick up that pacing, okay? Also, we understood that Helen had ADHD. I did not need to see it on every 3, 4, 5 pages. I understood that she had ADHD. Okay, and because she had this issue, it really we had Helen where she was in her head a lot, and how she kind of like was really like down on herself because of the ADHD, and how she couldn't be pay attention, and you know, things like that. So I needed Helen to get out her head. Okay, you fighting a whole goddamn demon here, girl. Get out your head. Okay, stop worrying about it. Okay. But for the most part, this was a really good read. As always, with Charish Read, writing is on par. But this pacing, girl, I need for you to get this pacing together, okay? Get it together, all right? So, for this book, I did pick a card for our Conjure You, and I chose the Queen of Swords. I love this card. This is such a very pretty, gorgeous card, okay? And what does the Queen of Swords? I just chose this card because I just felt like the way, like, she just, like, even though she's like a new witch, right? She's a new witch and she's still learning, like the way she decided to just step up and defend her man. Was he her man when she stepped up? No, but he was on his way on being there, because the charish. The self-masturbation scenes that you had in this book, we need to talk, okay? Because I was like, oh, okay. So a couple of meanings for this card: honest, independent, pessimistic. And I chose that word because of the way that Helen at times was inside of her head and was really, really just like very down on herself, you know, especially when she had memories, you know, when she flashed back to her past and when she was in like, you know, chef school, cooking school, stuff like that. So it was just like she was very pessimistic about herself, but she was really just an honest, independent, hardworking girl. But this card I chose because the way she stepped up and defended that man when he needed to be defended, because that demon was gonna get his virgin ass, okay? But yes, the Queen of Swords, because she was like, you ain't getting my man. Only one that's gonna crack this virgin is me, demon. Queen of Swords. Okay, Helen. Yes, all right. Pretty good read. Pacing tore me up. Okay. And the last book that I'm going to give y'all for this month is My Happy Marriage. This is number 5. I picked up this series because I had to finish it because Netflix actually has the anime on it, but I think Netflix only gives you the story probably up to maybe book 4. Okay. Possibly. I don't know. Maybe 3, 4. But anyway, I got book 5. I love this. I am picking up more romance animes, and then I found out that a lot of romance mangas you can get as light novels because it's like in book form. I love this. So anyway, you have Mio and Kyoko. Mio grew up in I'm just describing it as a whole right now, okay? But Mio grew up in a very abusive home, okay? Stepmama and her stepsister ain't shit. Like it's her daddy's other daughter, but you know they was mean as hell, and her father just ain't give. Her father was terrible, just really terrible. But anyway, so she grows up in an abusive household. Kyoko comes in because Kyoko takes Mio as his fiance, and Mio just goes along with it because she's like, you know what, anybody is goddamn better than these people I'm in with now or whatever. But in her family is actually happy to hand her over to Kyoko because everybody just assumes like he's this hard, frosty type person. He don't really like care for women because he had other fiancés, whatever. But they was running that. They was like, this man is too cold. We don't want to fuck with him or whatever. But when Mio comes to his house, Mio starts to notice that he is not what the rumors claim to be. He's actually very warm, very giving. He could be a little stern or whatever. Because that first time he met her, he was like, if I tell you to die, you die. I was like, so who are you talking to? Don't be talking to her like that. But anyway, but you know, he proves the rumors wrong. And then we have this whole situation where in the first couple of books, Kyoko has to deal with her family because her family, they really weren't shit. And then we also kind of find out like in this world, there are some people that are born with like special powers or whatever. Kyoko's family has them, which he comes from a very wealthy and powerful magic family. So does Mio's family from her mother and father's side, but it was always assumed that Mio has no power because they didn't like notice it when she was little or whatever. That was just another reason for her family to treat her like shit. I really wanted to beat them people up. But anyway, during these first couple of books, we kind of find out that Mio actually has powers. Her mother ended up binding her powers when she was a baby because she did not want Mio to be used for them. Goddamn good that did. But anyway, so her powers are unbinded, and in the fourth from like the fourth to this book, I think from the third to the fourth book or whatever, we're seeing where Mio is kind of like, you know, discovering her powers and learning how to use them. She's falling for Kyoko. Kyoko is falling for her. But you know, with these, you know, it's kind of like, you know, little kiss here, you know, nothing really like, you know, to get your blood running if you like that. But you know, that's okay because I'm used to watching animes and stuff. But I picked these up because these are more like older characters, you know what I mean? Like all these little young ass kids, these little high school romances, they're cute or whatever, and I do watch them, I do. But y'all, I can't be doing that all the time. But in this fifth book, we have it where There's this gifted community that is starting to gain power, and they are kind of like a little rebellion or whatever that wants to overthrow, the current prince and stuff like that, and just kind of like just take over whatever. And the guy that's in charge of them is saying that he's Mio's real daddy and all this other stuff. It's a mess. But they are coming up in power and stuff like that. And Kyoko works for the government. He's kind of like, the police. Woo, woo. To sound up of police, but anyway, and they're trying to like stop this gifted community from like, rising in power stuff. But it's hard, honey, because there are a lot of people that are kind of like, taken to them and things like that. So it's kind of like getting hard. So we see inside of this book where Mio's trying to like adjust to her new powers, adjust to being more around Kyoko. They done announced their engagement, things like that. And then you have Kyoko, who is trying to like also get his feelings correct for Mio, and try to keep her safe now that a lot of people know that she does have this power that she has. Is called dream sleep, and if somebody takes her, they can like use that in kind of like the wrong way. So protect her, be on his damn job, getting this gifted community or whatever. But yeah, so it's a cute little romance anime. I like it, and it's kind of like set between like western theme and kind of like back in the day themes, with Japanese style and stuff, where they wear the kimonos, and then sometimes they switch into wearing like western wear, American wear and stuff like that. So I like this series. It's really, really nice. Book 6 just came out, so I'm heading my way over to Barnes & Noble and pick that up. So that is my wrap up for March. And until the next one, later days. Bye.